Welcome, guys. Thank you for joining me for another episode on Word Thinkers. This is your first time. My name is Eusebio. And if you're not already subscribed, do make sure that you hit the subscribe button, also notification bell, so you won't miss any future videos. We also have a new WhatsApp number, so do check it out. For this one, we are going to tackle an interesting thought. This is just a thought. And, some of us, we lean to that, seeing it progressing to a point where it might happen. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about this comment right here. And so I thought I was the only one who saw it from the outside, because remember the live stream we had, we spoke about people that is inside of the house will not really see that the windows are dirty because they are in the house. For them it looks like it's clean, but when somebody comes to visit, they see the errors, they see the problems, they see the things that is happening. And so that is what is happening. And so the first thing for somebody that's inside of the house is to take offense when somebody corrects something that is error in the house. And so I feel that this is the same thing. And one interesting thing is that the people over there that camp doesn't really lean on reality, and they don't admit to truth, even though they know it's true. Like, they won't confess it, they won't say it. And so if you can remember the story of Jim Jones was a famous preacher, and raised up a huge following, just like the one we see. Raised up a huge following, and this is more like a story time, so I stay tuned. And raised up a huge following, built a church, moved them somewhere to an isolated area which was called Georgetown, after Jim Jones, Georgetown. And so they moved to this location, and this is where things got weird, right? Because, the most destructive thing is a preacher in the pulpit having the wrong doctrine. That is the most destructive thing, because you are feeding people something. Some pastors brainwash, some pastors use manipulation, some pastors use emotional manipulation, and all of these things is factors. And so this is the same thing that happened in the Jim Jones story. I don't know if you know this story, but over 300 children were, and about 700, it's almost 1,000 people that lost their lives. This was a massive massacre that occurred, some time back. And we see this progressing to a point where the followers of the camp will not really protect the Bible. They would rather protect and defend the prophet, to a certain extent where theologically they don't think about it, and logically they don't consider it, and realistically speaking, they are just making defense for things which is useless. And one interesting thing is that one subscriber said or in the comment section said that the word they like to use is they are foolish. Now, here's where it gets dangerous. It is when a pastor uses defense mechanism. What does that mean? It means that when he preaches, he builds an account or agenda in the mind of the believer or the follower to a certain level where he pushes them himself to a level of where he becomes the God over them. And those are one of the things that 1 Peter 5 verse 1 to 3 is talking about. He says, do not be lords over their lives. And so how do we know that this is what we see? It's because they don't defend the Lord, but they defend the preacher, you see. And so they would rather reject biblical truth. They would rather reject Christianity or whatever it means, just to defend the prophet. And so I feel that yes, it's a progression towards that same notion, that same narrative that happened those days. And we see the magnificent destruction that happened in the time of these people in the name of God. And so thousands, about 900 and something people, I think close to 1,000 people, lost their lives because of brainwash. And that's destructive. Now, if we're talking about 1 million people, those are the numbers they give us, then I don't know where we are ending at the end of the day. So this is just a thought that I want you guys to think about. And for the ninjas in the comment section, listen to the video, consider my thoughts, consider what I'm saying, because this is just something that I'm putting out there, because it has, similarities to the point where this is what those people did, and this is what we had, and this is what this camp is doing now. So it looks similar. And so do make sure that you check out Jim Jones documentary to give you some context. And so also do make sure to check out the pinned comments to see if there's any other videos that was posted today. I'll see you on those ones. Until next time.